Mikey and Rinne stay in. Oh yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to Mikey and Rinne Stay In. I'm Mikey.
And I'm Rinne.
Do you want to say anything?
I lingered.
You did
For
linger.
a second on the microphone there.
If you had to, let it linger.
Oh my god, great song.
Don't sing that.
Or sing it every day, all day.
Or sing it all the time. Here, you talk for a second. I've got to get my thing.
Your thing. Goodbye.
My list.
Okay.
Okay guys, so we are back. It's going to be just the two of us this episode. The three, or 1.5, 2.5 if you count Avi in the back.
Hi,
Hey
Avi.
Avi.
And friends, we have a little disclaimer for you.
Disclaimer. Here we go. Tell them.
Mike Shooter and I don't drink alcohol very much. Very frequently
No, we're trying to make a baby.
And tonight, we did.
We had a couple.
So, yeah. It was our 7-year wedding anniversary on Saturday. Congratulations.
Round of applause.
Yes.
I'm clapping in a circle.
On our anniversary, my really incredible mentor was here teaching a class that I had organized on pediatric acupuncture. And so we spent our 7-year wedding anniversary with her at a restaurant.
Which was super fun.
Yeah, it was beautiful and amazing. And but we sort of agreed that we would take another little time once she left to be together and celebrate. And so we motherfucking celebrated. And we had some oysters. Well, what was initially supposed to happen is we were supposed to go to this restaurant, Jacqueline, at 5 p.m. and eat oysters and maybe have a glass of wine and then come back and record the podcast. Not in the plans was dropping cheese and crackers in our living room.
True.
But that's what's happening now. So instead of doing that, as you can see, it's dark. It's clearly not 5 fucking p.m. on the West Coast anymore.
You're right.
We ate oysters,
Yep.
had 2 glasses of wine, and then I just haven't had 2 glasses of wine in a long time, and it felt really fun. And so there's a bar which is sort of adjacent to Jacqueline, which is like a, just very nice establishment. Jacqueline is. And then and then double barrel, yes. Which, as you can imagine, is probably not the nicest establishment. It was sort of kitty corner from where we were. So we went there, we had a couple more beers. Anyway.
Yeah. Long story short, or actually, short story long. Yeah, we just had
That's
a couple.
how we're delivering our
fun.
podcast to you today.
Yeah, it's great. We're awesome, you're awesome. Have some fun with it. Everybody's got to find their stress reliever somehow. We were sitting in the sun, we had a blast. It's great.
Oh, so fun.
Totally.
So fun.
And so we're coming to you without an interview this week, but we had a great interview last week. We had our friend Teresa here.
Teresa was amazing.
Fucking so fun. She's hilarious. She also had some amazing stories to tell. I really appreciate just everybody who's come on the show being so, real about everything and just telling the real stories.
So authentic.
Yeah. Her authenticity was dripping from the walls. It was amazing. I don't know. I loved hearing about home births. I loved hearing about, the kind of the ease of it all, the stress of it all the love that was involved was great. So if you guys didn't listen to it, go back, listen to it. It's wonderful. This podcast, we're going to be doing this episode, just the two of us. Then we're going to be taking a week off because we're going to go back to Buffalo, New York.
Yay!
Otherwise known as Tatanka, for those of you who've seen Dances with Wolves. We're going to go back and see Corinne's sister and our brother-in-law, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, and then our little nephew, who's fucking awesome. He's going to turn 1 year old this year. Yeah. So we're going to go see him, give him some treats. He's a little fat, pudgy guy, so we're going to go squeeze all of his little folds. And then we'll be back the following week with an interview, I believe.
I think so.
Let's just say maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, we can promise you that.
We have a really, really fun, super exciting September interview.
Yeah.
We haven't quite scheduled it yet.
Yeah, it's Michael Jordan.
Amazing.
It's the Michael Jordan of the health world. Yeah, I'll say
No,
that.
that's actually,
Yeah.
that's a fair point.
Okay. Don't watch this episode because you're gonna see me mangling cheese onto a carb product, and it's gonna look really disgusting. And I just would rather you just listen this week.
Listen to him eat.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Cheese
It's not
onto
gonna.
a crispy
I won't
cracker.
do that. No, it'll be fine. I'll do it way off mic. And I'll do it after I have some things. So, yeah. So we're gonna try to do some of our moments.
Yeah,
some
signature
of our
segments.
Signature segments this week. But I think I have most of them.
I know. Well,
Rinne,
Mikey had a pretty reproductive health heavy week.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even write that on there.
Yeah. And, this show has really become a platform for women to talk about their reproductive health experiences. So we've had breastfeeding, we've had non-biological mamas, we've had out-of-hospital births. But so at the core of what this show is, it's Mikey and I trying to have a baby at 39 and 38 years old, right? Which it turns out is
not super easy.
Yeah, is a little trickier than both
harder
of
than
us
we
had
figured.
anticipated.
Sure.
And so we are.
Thanks God. Or Jesus or the Holy Ghost. I'm not sure who caused that.
The Holy
Could have
Trinity.
made it a fucking easier experience.
Right.
Yeah.
But then we wouldn't have the podcast. And
I guess,
what would
Intelligent design.
What would these ears listen
Fuck
to?
off. No.
But so, we've sort of taken you on the journey of what we've done so far. And I have really focused on my reproductive health in seeing a naturopath and taking supplements and seeing an acupuncturist and taking herbs. And but what we've decided is that this is really a team effort. And I think we've mentioned this on the show before, that 60% of infertility is oftentimes what's going on with the woman in the relationship. If that's your, if you're in a male-female relationship, but 40% of the time it's the men. And so we thought that it was really important to get Mikey's sperm analyzed and to figure out if that was sort of a contributing factor to us maybe having a little bit of a challenging time.
How those testes testing?
How are your testes?
How's the testing? I don't know there's some funny way to get there.
Testing?
We'll figure it out. Testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went in, and the only time that I've ever seen, I think most people have really heard about or seen people doing sperm analysis or a lot of the kind of sperm bank things are in movies or in shows.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. So it's go into the room, they give you the little cup, and they're like, you gotta beat off to this Playboy. And then you do your thing in the little cup. And it was exactly that. It was 100%. So the thing that I kept thinking about, and those of you who are whatever, around our age will maybe remember the Jackass episode where they went and they all jerked off together. So it was 15 of the guys from the show Jackass, and they all competed about.
So true to Jackass.
It was so stupid. But I was oh my god, it's totally not going to be like that. It's going to be so professional and clinical. Nope, it was literally. I walked into an office. There was so first of all, every single person that I had an interaction with. There was 4 people on the way in, so I was I checked in. I had someone else kind of give me a clipboard. I had someone walk me to the office, and I had someone kind of tell me what to do. All of them were these gorgeous 23-year-old women, which I was this is a thing. This is totally planned. And so.
Did you feel like you were on Punk'd or something?
A little bit. I felt like this was a movie set or something. I was okay, all right, everybody, okay. And I could have.
I'm not gonna ejaculate right here.
No, I don't need to do it in the hallway. I could have Danny DeVito walking me to the. No harm, no fault if you think Danny DeVito is very, very sexually attractive. I tend to think that he is. So, anyways, so I get into the room, and there's magazines on the wall, and I was like kind of amazed that they even had magazines anymore, because I'm like, everybody has like a porn studio in their pockets. Like you can
Definitely.
Yeah, like I get an iPhone out and like in 3 seconds you can watch any porn movie that's ever been made ever. So, but all of the magazines were for gay men, and I mean for men that wanted to look at men, or women that wanted to look at men with men, and so I was a little bit like, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then, and so I just, anyways, so they gave me the little cup. It was all the thing. They had the funniest part is there was like a little metal door in between my room and then the room where they were going to be doing the analysis. And this door is made out of aluminum. And the other door on the other side is made of aluminum. And in between is like a void. So there's no sound proofing at all. Like I could hear everything that was going on in the other room, which was like people writing emails and people talking about their weekends, and it was just like it felt very public. Let's just put it that way. So,
and in that public sort of environment, you're asked to just like drop trowel.
Oh yeah, sure. Do the most. I mean, one of the more private things that you're gonna do, and I say this like knowing full well that women that go into a hospital, like they are probed, they are put in stirrups, they're like all these things happen that are like unbelievably unpleasant and violating and all the things. And just to put it out there, men don't have this happen that often.
Sure.
Like the two things we have is like this, what I did, and then like the proctology exam. That's like the one thing is like the snap of the rubber glove and like the finger that goes up your butt to check your prostate. And those are like the two things that like men can be like, oh man, my life is hard too. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other things that I think men's rights people would say are real tough about their lives.
Oh boy.
Fuck off. So, anyways, long story short, it happened. It was like it was a thing, and I was like, I got my sample in, and I was like waiting to hear back. They were like, you're gonna hear back from this doctor with the person that you're with the doctor's office that you're with within the day. You're gonna hear back by the end of the day.
Same day delivery.
Same day.
I was guaranteed.
I was like, amazing. That's awesome. I'll know.
Wow, Amazon doesn't even do that.
Positive or negative, it'll be great. So end of the day, nothing. I hear nothing. I'm kind of like, whatever, fine. I think it was a Friday. So weekend goes by, and I'm like, all right, well then Monday, like first thing I'm gonna hear. Monday goes by, nothing. I call, I think Monday afternoon I called in, and I was like, hey, I was supposed to hear on Friday, and they're like, we're gonna get it right to you. Again, long story short, a week and a half later, I had not heard a thing.
It's true!
Yeah, and you know, it's just, yes, we're under a little bit of a time crunch. We're a little bit older. Fuck you, God, again. But I'm also just like, dude, I don't care if this was like whatever. It was a dental screening. If it was like, let's say it was a fucking cancer screening. Any of these things, get it to me as quickly as possible. And if you tell me it's going to be to me in the next 6 hours, at least just give it to me in the next 48. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
And so I finally call them, 5th time calling them, and they send me the results without any explanation, just the results,
and
which are just numbers.
HIPAA compliant? Question mark.
Question mark.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, totally.
Because did they text it to you or email it to you?
Emailed it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to enter a little code.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyways, they send me the numbers. I don't really know what they mean at the end of the day. All that I know is there's 2 exclamation points.
Oh my God.
Kind of like a Warner Brothers cartoon or something. There's just 2 like boing. And so one of them is about volume. Sorry guys. Low volume.
He doesn't blow a big load.
Oh boy. That river's flowing a little low. And then morphology. So evidently I have rectangular headed sperm. Some of them. But like both of the numbers were not crazy bad. They were like kind of like close to okay, like great, whatever. And so I'm like, I don't know how worried I'm supposed to be. There's a big fucking bold exclamation point next to volume and morphology. Both words I kind of understand. Morphology, definitely don't understand. Mighty Morphin, is it the Mighty Morphin Sperm and Ranger? I don't know. So, anyways, nothing. Don't hear anything. And eventually I just got a thing, like an email from a guy that said,
Not the doctor that ordered the semen
I think
analysis.
it was actually just a nurse. I think it was like an RN.
Yeah.
Sent me a thing
Very
that said,
generic email.
hello, we just got your results back, low volume, odd morphology, call us if you have any questions.
Bye.
And he said everything else was normal. So, I don't know, it's just a bummer. So anyways, what we're going to do is, we made an appointment with an endocrinologist, and that was going to be like $500 to potentially go in and have like a 5-minute conversation with someone at a hospital, a big hospital.
Minutes, probably.
Yeah, probably. Maybe 15 minutes. And we don't know what they would have told us, whether it would have been good or bad or indifferent. But we also, that's not the way that we roll. Like, we don't go through, we've normally been going through people that are kind of in the alternative health space, that are kind of doing things that we kind of understand a little bit more of. And so we backed out of that. And we're going to go talk to a bunch of other people that we trust a little bit more and see what we can do to like just make things perfect.
Yep.
And then move ahead from there. And then eventually maybe see an endocrinologist, and that'll be great.
Sure. Well, the interesting thing is we made the appointment. I thought it was going to be, a month out to see a reproductive endocrinologist. And we got an appointment tomorrow.
Right.
And I called on Friday. And I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. Because my frustration is you have these numbers and I'm in the sort of complementary health world and I don't really understand what they mean.
Sure.
And so I need some guidance. And Mikey, to his credit, I just think that, but I think that you're sort of unique and amazing in that I said, hey, will you do this thing? Will you find your primary care provider and ask them to put this order in for you? And then will you go jack off into a cup and but that takes a lot to do that, right?
Being immature. Yeah.
But you were not immature in this instance where I asked you to do this, right? And to have this information just sort of floating out there and for nobody to have contacted him is, I just find it a breach of the sort of medical relationship that you enter into with someone when you agree that you're going to do something like this. And I found it really egregious that he called. This is sometimes I feel like sometimes on this show we may conflate stories, or we might elaborate our stories or whatever. You called them 5 times. You literally did.
Yeah, over a week, yeah.
And there was no response, and then finally he gets this sort of generic email that says, oh man, your morphology and your volume's fucked up. Everything else is normal. Have a good day.
Yeah.
And that just felt to me so impersonal.
So dismissive.
And not helpful.
Well, the other part of it is there's so many people that when you and I have gone through our periods where let's say we're not drinking, you haven't been drinking for a lot of this or whatever, but I will have a couple beers. I've been drinking less and very little kind of while we've been trying to conceive, but people will kind of laugh and go you can have a beer, bro, it doesn't matter what you do. And I'm like, right. At certain parts of the pregnancy, it kind of maybe doesn't matter what I do.
Sure.
While you're pregnant.
Right.
But before you're pregnant, it does matter what I do.
Yeah. Sperm are kind of an important part of conception.
And this is not like a men's right argument or whatever, but it's it's just it's like a reinforcement from medical professionals that your shit doesn't really matter.
Right.
And
put all the blame on the woman when you're having fertility challenges.
She's fucked up, whatever. Right. You're all good, bro. You got it. Watching football, drink a couple Bud Light limes and fuck that wife. I don't know. I just thought it was so unprofessional. And I also the medical profession, Eastern and Western, but mostly Western, is so inaccessible to people that I don't even have I'm a professional man. I'm almost a 40-year-old man. I should be able to go to someone and say, fuck you, you blew it for me. But there's no way to speak, even when I'm in a doctor's office, I feel like a child again. I'm am I gonna get a lollipop at the end? I hope that I get good news. And fuck you. You're just another human that sat in some school for a little bit longer than I did.
Right.
And the lack of compassion, the lack of humanity, the lack of bedside manner that often happens in hospital and doctor's office situations needs to be fucking called out. And it's all subsidized by insurance companies. The only reason any of these people are making tons of money is because they're bilking the insurance system. They are not doing a human service. And I just think that, I don't know, it's ridiculous. I'm on like my 15th. I could have a whole show about the things, and I understand the show should be about women because women are less represented, women are less heard, but I'm a man who's been in a lot of really fucking terrible hospital situations where I've gotten bad information, no information, terrible, I don't know, just like dismissive doctor situations. I've been prescribed insane amounts of painkillers that I asked to not be prescribed. Like all this, like a bunch of shit that I think should be illegal, should be called out, should be whatever. And this is just another one where we're fucking scared, we're trying to make a baby, and I'm being told, buck up, be a man, you're fucking good, you know, whatever. And no real information that's like, hey, I want to be proactive with you and I want to help you and your wife make a baby. It's fucked. It's something that needs to be addressed, and I don't know how to do it, but it feels really helpless for both of us.
Oh. I really felt that. What you just said there. No, but it's
She might have just gotten pregnant.
No, I know. It's you know, in my frustration, I think that I've a little bit lost sight of what you've been going through too, you know? It's this shit's been really hard.
Yeah.
And there's bits of it that are really we are just in uncharted territory, and feeling this clock ticking, and wow, you're like stepping up and saying, okay, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna get this information, and then nobody in your medical world saying, great, you did this information, here's what this information means.
Yeah.
And that's really fucking frustrating.
I don't know.
So what I did today, I have this really incredible acupuncturist, and I emailed her and I said, hi, we don't have $500 to spend on a 15-minute appointment tomorrow. Here's what Mikey's semen analysis is. Can you help us? And she said, yep, tons we can do. Happy to help. As soon as I have a minute, I'm going to email you a bunch of information. And it was so, she was so clear.
Yeah.
And
it was so affirmational.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Authoritative. It was
definitely. I see that
you.
there's an issue here. We can definitely address it. I got you. Give me a second when I have like a moment to send you an email.
Yeah.
It was really, affirmational, I think was.
When I just, you know, and for anybody who's listening to this show who is a doctor or nurse or Western medical professional, like, you know, it's like, we're not trying to call you out. We're not.
No.
But I just want you to understand that there are a lot of people in your world that are fucking up.
Yeah.
And that are they're not stepping up to the plate where they should be. And then there's a lot of people in the alternative health world that they have time, they have compassion, they have the ability to actually hear you and see you as a human.
And they've heard the story before where we're not getting the help we need.
Yeah,
can you help us?
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, even if Corinne wasn't an acupuncturist, and I don't know, this is a long-term story for me. This is not the first time that I've heard this. I've had this for 20 years of my life. And I just wanted, and the other things that I've been through, which have been like injuries and things like that, not a big deal. But when it comes to something as personal and as serious as trying to make a baby, as trying to grow your family, I don't know. I think people need to just understand that there needs to be another level of compassion. There needs to be another level of we see you. And this isn't necessarily being said to the individual practitioners, but the system at large is you have to give people time to actually be a human to the humans that they're seeing. You actually have to give some space within the system to be compassionate. And I just don't think it's built into a profit-driven system. And it's not to get preachy, but just it sucks. It sucks from this side of things.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. I love you.
I love you. Thanks for sharing all of that. It was, we haven't talked too much about this, and so...
I know, I can kind of, our family can be kind of jokey, and like...
Sure, yeah.
I can kind of like, just slough off the things that are stressing me out with like by joking about them, but like this, it's not, I don't know. None of the things that we've been going through are easy, and I kind of like that that's where... On some level, it's gone for us because it's building the complexity, it's building the texture of our relationship and all those things. But at the end of the day, fuck all that. I just want it to be easy,
right?
And
I'm ready for it to be easy.
Me too. Should I do
Can we
any
talk
of the
about
dumb
something
things?
that's gonna be easy, or
What's
that
that?
might be easy?
Sure.
Such as your bindles of the week.
Oh, my bindles. That was smooth transition there, X-Lax. Smooth move, X-Lax, that was how you would say it.
So every week we try to incorporate a few different things. So one of them is a bindle of the week, which is the way that we're trying to save money in anticipation for me being pregnant and having a child.
Yeah.
And
and I'm going to be quitting my job and pursuing my rap career.
Yes. So
Which is
we
gonna
would
be
really
fucking
need
great.
to bindle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I know, because it's not going to go well.
I don't think it will.
No, it's not going to.
Your freestyle is kind of on point.
Oh, I can flow. I got it.
If you.
I'm okay right now. And I think you guys are okay. Come to the house, I'll show you.
Let's hear your bindle.
Well, I'm going to do 3 things real quick.
Yes.
And I've
Let's
already,
hear 3 things.
This has been a big Mikey episode. I've talked a lot. I'm sorry, but I'm going to go real quickly with these. So, bindles of the week times 2. 1. I hate buying printer ink.
Oh my god, preach. Me too.
I hate it. We spend, obviously, we all know the racket. The racket is cheap printer, expensive ink. You have to buy the ink. You're tied to the fucking printer. But the best thing you can do, put that printer on draft mode. You put it on draft.
Hello?
Yeah, it spends so much less time spraying ink all over the page, but it's still just as dark. It looks great, and it uses like 1/10 of the ink or something like that.
Yes.
It's amazing. So draft mode for your printers. Use less ink, spend less money, support Hewlett-Packard and Epson and all those people. Less. Second.
Love that.
Love it. Holler. Second one. Buy shit, use it, return it.
Wow.
Yeah. So Rinne had a class that she was hosting this weekend with her mentor, and we needed a last-minute projector. Bought that shit, used that shit, returned it. Didn't rent it. That would cost money. Returned it. Got all the money back for free.
So smart.
Keep it in nice shape. These are not like mind-blowing things. Just do it, folks. Okay, last thing, minor rant. I don't even know if I want to rant about it. But on Facebook, there's this meme that keeps coming up that says, name your vagina with the last movie that you saw. And some of them are name your penis
that's weird.
with the last movie that you saw. Fucking lazy. It's a lazy joke. It's just super lazy. Like it's
Why is it lazy?
Well, because like the porn star, get your porn star name. It's the street you grew up on, and the dog. Or no, it's the dog you had growing up, and the street you grew up on. So
mine
it's
was so good
it's a
growing up.
combination of things. Which, like, okay, so what was your dog's name?
Sage Snyder.
Sage Schneider.
She was like the naughtiest librarian.
Naughty librarian.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tortoiseshell.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know it.
She was hot.
Yes.
So mine was.
Oh.
I'm
God.
sorry, maybe the best of all time.
Yours was the best.
So our dog's name was Licorice, and the street.
But you called him
Licky, and then I grew up on Wood Avenue. So my name is Licky Wood.
Oh my God, it's amazing!
The best gay porn name of all time.
Yes! Yeah. God, that's so good.
Creative.
Yes.
Super creative.
Yep, love it.
But like, what's the name of your vagina? My vagina's called Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah, no.
Fuck you.
So boring.
Come up with something better.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord. I'm sorry. And so when I see people put that up, they're like, this is funny. No. Come up with something more creative. You might think it's funny in the moment. Think a little bit more. It's not that funny. There should be something a little bit more complex and creative. Your vagina is complex, creative, beautiful, intensive. Like, it does all sorts of crazy shit that no one else can do, no one else's body parts can do.
Yes.
Give your vagina a better name.
Wow.
That's all I gotta say.
Amen.
You take us out.
Okay. I've got a little pro tip. It is one of my favorite times of year, actually, because it's end of summer. We're sort of transitioning into fall. Stop
I love summer.
I know. But this sort of transition period is really nice too. And it's a time to really start thinking about, especially in sort of Chinese medicine theory. So we're moving from summer into late summer and then eventually into fall. And especially for those of you that are, maybe you work with kids, maybe you have kids, maybe you're just a person that gets sick a lot in the fall, it's a really nice time to start kind of like battening down the hatches and protecting your immune system and really thinking about this sort of 5-element nature of each of these seasons. So in Chinese medicine, I know I've talked about this before, but we have 5 different elements and they correspond to different seasons. And so we're sort of moving into a new element and we're moving into a new organ system that we have to take care of, which is related to that element. So as we move into sort of late summer and fall, we're moving into the kind of metal time of year, is what we call it. And with metal, the related organ system are 2 actually, lung and large intestine. So couple things with thinking about the large intestine. Obviously, that's like our poop mechanism, right? And so to really think about what in this time of year can you let go of? What can you expel? What can you get rid of in your life? So are you holding on to, I don't know, pictures of you and your ex?
Shut 'em out.
Are you holding on to things that your grandmother gave you that you thought were going to be really important in your life, but they're actually just cluttering up your bedroom that you're, sharing a house with 3 other people? So it's a really nice time to sort of take stock and figure out what can I release? And it feels really good at this time of year.
That's great.
And then, so the other part of that is the organ system of the lung, which a lot of us in fall time get upper respiratory infections and cough and things like that, especially if you live in a drier climate. You're probably feeling a little scratchy in the throat already. And so just to think about really supporting that organ system. So a couple things that we can do. We can add in some herbs into our cooking. So if you think about adding in maybe some green onions. So you've made some tacos for the family, sprinkle a little green onion on top of that. Ginger is another one of my favorites. So you can, and Mikey can probably speak more to this.
Ginger?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, one of the main things about ginger, I think that's a myth, is that you need to peel it.
Ooh,
So don't peel the ginger.
Good
just
one.
smash your ginger kind of like you do your garlic and just mince it up. The skin is kind of one of the better parts. It's really delicious. And just so mince it up and then just throw it in anything you have.
Great.
Yeah, cut it into coins first, like slice it across and then mince it.
You know what I think would be really nice, because I'm just thinking about like sort of nourishing the lungs, and pears are really particularly have an affinity for the lungs and are really moistening and nourishing.
They look like a lung.
Yeah, that's so true, don't they? But how cool would it be to maybe like bake a pear and like stick some
ginger
in that?
Yeah,
like
totally.
That's and then maybe sprinkle a little cinnamon on top.
Okay.
Whip a little cream.
Hello.
I mean, that sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, I just to really kind of honor this time of year, you know, think about letting go, and then also think about really protecting and nourishing our lungs. Another thing you can do for your lungs, this might seem quite obvious, but to really start to practice intentional breath. You're already doing it. Yeah.
I don't breathe.
So really deep breaths in through your nose. I always tell all my kiddos, like you're smelling, I often say, a really delicious pizza. Because all my kids that come to my office, I'm like, what's your favorite food? They're like, pizza!
Yep, I'm a child.
Like you're smelling your favorite pizza, and then out through your mouth, like you're blowing out your birthday candles.
Yeah.
So really having an intentional breath practice at this time of year can be really helpful for getting some good blood flow to the lungs, and then sort of warding off those infections that are coming later on.
Rinne,
Sheepy.
you're everybody home.
Yeah, thanks.
We're gonna lay on the couch.
Oh my god, I'd love to.
Let's go watch some bad TV.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
As always, listen to us coughing and eating into the microphone.
Yeah.
Don't forget, if you haven't already and you're enjoying our show, please subscribe to the YouTube page. If you're listening with your ears, please rate us, review us on iTunes. It's going to just give our podcast more buoyancy. More people are going to find it.
Totally.
It takes so little of your time, and it would be immensely helpful.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
I also know that a lot of people are listening on like Stitcher and Spotify. I've seen that. That's great. Spotify's really rad. They're doing a lot of cool things for new podcasters. So, do that. Yeah. And we're going to see you guys in 2 weeks, basically.
Yes, we will not be here next week because we're actually going to take time off.
Yeah, I know. And follow our Instagram and Facebook on Mikey and Rinne Stay In, because we'll post some pictures of the fun things that we're doing together while we're getting out. Mikey and Rinne, get out.
Yeah, at Mikey and Rinne Stay In.
Yeah,
elsewhere.
Totally. So you guys, thanks so much. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And as always, I'm Mikey.
And I'm Rinne.
And tonight we're gonna stay in. Goodbye. Night.